Hey guys, welcome to episode 14 of the NooBTooB Coffee Break. It is March? It's what? No, it's not March. It's April 6th, 2012. And joining me as always is everybody's favorite Brit, Eidolon.
Yes, hi, hello.
Hi, hello. And as always, it's me, your favorite Canadian and drowning in maple syrup. It's Manio.
Maple syrup for the win. Yep.
And as everybody knows, we have our original show template. Gonna try to do the original show template. We haven't recorded in almost a year, so let's get down to it with what we've been playing. I'm gonna throw it over to Eidolon so he can talk first.
Oh, straight into the flow of things this time around.
Yep.
Straight into the flow.
Straight into the flow.
So I can start with a really boring game or a really interesting game. Which one do you want to go for first? Boring or...
Let's go with boring.
Right, well, boring for most people, not boring for me. Anno 2070 on Steam. You all heard of it? No? Yes? No?
Yep.
It's from the guys that made all the previous Annos. You wouldn't have guessed it. And it's set, instead of being set in Renaissance, which is generally where the previous Annos have been, where you colonize places and make up industries and stuff, I guess you could refer it a bit like the old Settlers games and stuff, in a way. And it's gone futuristic in this case. It's like all set in the year 2070, as you can guess from the title. And it's in a post-global warming sort of Earth where like half the world's flooded. If you look at the map, Britain's non-existent. There's only a bit of Scotland left. Half of America's gone and all that stuff. So basically, you're going around colonizing places. You're either working for the Global Trust, who are a mean corporation, or you're working for the environmentalists, who are hippies. Yes. Or you can work for the sciencey people, who just like robots and AIs and shit. So, Anno 27, I wanted to bring it up because it's a game that not many people play. I think there's only me and Gravehound who own it. And it needs more love. It's perhaps got one of the best interfaces I've ever seen. You know your traditional interface, Mania? What would you refer to as a traditional interface in a game? For like the main menu?
I'd say traditional interface. God.
As a main menu, you know.
As a main menu, so like new game, load game, options.
Yeah, guess what? None of that exists. Well, it does, but it exists in a different form. The main menu is basically a 3D Earth that you can see lower half of the screen, and different tabs and stuff everywhere. So, like, you've got, like, running news, because there's even a running sort of world that's going on where different events come up. I mean, different missions appear because the game's constantly progressing. There's voting for the Senate and stuff. All these are linked in. It's really hard to describe it, but it's really a kind of modern, really clean, and really easy to negotiate, really, interface, which isn't like new game there. You can still find them. They're pretty easy to get to, but there's all these other things now. You can go into different tab menus, look at world rankings and stuff, and it's really hard to describe how good this interface looks. You really need to look at some screenshots of it. It looks amazing, and that in itself is the first awesome side of this game. But the game itself is quite interesting if you're into managing settlements and kind of developing them, you know, fulfilling needs, you know, a bit like you would in SimCity. In fact, it's a bit like SimCity, but with resources driving everything. And basically you get an island which has resources of its own. Sometimes you won't have the resources you need, so you have to colonize another island to go with it. And all this stuff, and link them all up and trade and get trade systems later. Sounds really boring, but there's more interesting. So there's a combat side. So there is sea combat, naval combat, and there is air combat. I don't believe there's land combat. I haven't come across any tanks invading my island yet. But there's definitely ships, and them ships alone can kill you off trade-wise, and the aeroplanes can come and kill you. I mean, they're like hover jets. But basically, it's just a awesome sort of civilization managing game where you build up an island with resources and making stuff and improving your place for your people, and they gradually get better and better and bigger and bigger. And as they progress, the people, you gain more and more technologies to play with. And there's a whole naval aspect of it, which is awesome. And, you know, I think I could go on and on because it's a really awesome game, which a lot of people don't give credit. There's a massive multiplayer in it, so there's a lot of that going on. A lot of the sort of Senate voting and stuff has little bonuses if a certain candidate gets in. All this stuff is very interesting, and the music is amazing. So that's all you need to say about that. Any questions, Mania?
Yeah, actually, I've been talking I've been actually really curious about this game, actually. I've been talking about a lot of it with a friend of the show, Oatnator. We've both been saying we're both interested in it to get it on Steam, because I think that's where it's on in Steam. And we're both really curious about it. Is there any, like, co-op-y stuff to it, like co-op missions?
I mean, with the multiplayer, you can have alliances and stuff. You can work together. I don't know about a specific co-op bit. I haven't delved too much into multiplayer. The only multiplayer I've sort of seen is where you set up and you can obviously have alliances and teams. So I guess you could class it as co-op. The single-player campaign is pretty simple in its own ways, and it doesn't have co-op as far as I've seen. But the multiplayer has loads of different modes, loads of different prospects. I think there's all sorts of modes where there's pirates and stuff. It's pretty cool. But there's no specific co-op. I mean, you can make it co-op, if you know what I mean, by being an alliance or a team. You don't have to attack each other, you know. you don't have to declare war on each other. You can just be friends and build together, if you know what I mean. But there's no specific co-op, as in single player. It's pretty much multiplayer. But you can do missions with other people, with AIs involved. So, you know, you could make your own co-op. The whole game is about making your own, or getting involved in missions, and these constantly changing missions that keep getting given to you by Ubisoft, who make it, which progress the world itself as well in its own way. Like at the minute, there's been a global stock market crash, so there's some missions specific to trying to improve that situation, and so on. And there was one a few months back when it first came out, when there was this missile crisis. These terrorists had got hold of this missile. They're like, want their own island or some shit, and they were threatening to like nuke a big city. And those missions evolved around that as well. So it's all there. It's interesting. It's constantly moving as a game. The interface is so nice, and the graphics are amazing. You need a relatively high-end system, but not too high-end. I mean, you can play it on a standard system that's not too high, but you can just run it in low. But for the high stuff, you need a little bit more bang in your machine. But it's really nice. Bloom effects and all that. Awesome. So yeah, that's Anno 2070. I think pretty much a long. Hopefully people understood what I was saying, because it's a bit hard to describe as a game. If you've ever played an Anno game or a Settlers game, you'll know what I mean by this game. So if you're into them sort of things, I would definitely say buy it. And at the minute, Steam's a bit expensive. I don't know if there's any way you can get it cheaper, but Steam is quite pricey. As it is with new releases, it tends to be. I mean, it's still relatively new. I think it's what?
I would say a couple months.
A couple of months, and it's like, is it like 30 quid or something on Steam now?
I think on Steam it's like $29.99.
Oh, so it's gone down a little bit. So yeah, I would say $29.99 is worth it if you're into this sort of thing. I would let it go down a little bit more if you're not too sure though. Maybe at £20-25. It's definitely a good game, and it's very well interconnected, should I say, and feels very immersive that you get these votes in the Senate and stuff. And depending on which candidate gets in of one of the three factions, gives you a different buff, so to speak. The same with this world voting, and there's even like council voting where there's legislation that I want passed. I think one was recent about something to do with water supplies, and you could vote for one policy over another, and whichever policy gets in affects your game for the time, and affects everyone who plays the game, should I say, because the votes are from all the players. So there you go. That's Anno. I think that's cool. So what about you, Mania? What's your first game?
So my first game is going to be Gotham City Imposters. I've been playing it on Xbox Live Arcade. So basically, for anybody who doesn't know, Gotham City Imposters is centered around the imposters of Batman and Joker. So again, if you don't know, in the Batman universe, there's these people that dress up like Batman, and then people who dress up like the Joker and fight crime and whatnot when Batman's not around. And they do it the way Batman doesn't do it. So for for all of you who know, Batman does not believe in lethal means of like stopping people. He believes in non-lethal ways. Whereas the imposters, they actually believe in lethal ways of stopping crime. So playing as the Batmen, they'll basically go to any means to stop the Jokers. They'll use guns, they'll kill them, they'll use explosives, and it's basically it's a multiplayer competitive first-person shooter, similar to games like Call of Duty, but it retains a lot of the Team Fortress 2 aspect in it, where there's a lot of hilarity. There's a lot of chaos, and it's all heavily class-based with unlockables.
I would say it's Team Fortress more than Call of Duty by far.
Well, it's the Call of Duty competitiveness with the Team Fortress 2 kind of antic play style with the game types, classes, and weapons. The only there's actually quite a bit of weapons in the game too. You can get like crossbows. Is it crossbows or just a bow? But you can get bows, like hang gliders. You can get a grapple gun to grapple up to different surfaces. There's a bunch of weapons in the game that players can use and change the outcome of the battle. And then each map has their own little like obstacles. I'd say obstacles or interactive objects that you can use to traverse the map easier. So some maps have trampolines that you can jump on, and you jump in the air from trampolines and whatnot. The only problem I have with Gotham City Imposters is I've been having a lot of connection issues with the game. So I've only gotten 2 matches out of the game, and I've had it for almost 3 weeks now, and I've only been able to get into 2 games. And I don't know if it's just me having this problem, but I can connect to any of my other games, so I haven't really been able to put a lot of time into the game. But from what I've played, I'm really enjoying it. I just wish I could get into these matches much easier.
Is this on XBLA or Steam?
I'm playing on the XBLA version, but there is a Steam version.
The Steam version, from what I've heard, has had its matchmaking and stuff improved majorly, and is really easy to get into a match now. But really, you got to face the facts. This game is about putting a guy with roller skates on as a Joker with a samurai sword. That's the game. Right there. Go on. It's an awesome looking game. For some reason, I haven't picked it up for the very reason that I'm sort of done with shooters at the minute, if you know what I mean. I'm not really into them. But this game is hilarious looking, and I'm sure gliding into someone's face and then hitting them with a samurai sword is amazingly fun. And I've seen the sheer amount of unlockables. It's ridiculous. I mean, you can buy them outside game with real money. It's disturbing, but you don't have to do it. You can earn coins and buy it in-game. But I have one question about it. Is there many game modes, or is it just one?
I believe there's 3 or 4 game modes. So you have your standard team deathmatch, which everybody knows is you just kill each other. And then you have a mode called fumigation or something. And I think that's the mode where you have like some green gas, and you basically, God, I don't even remember. I've only played Team Deathmatch because I can't connect to anything. I will give me a second, and I will be able to answer your question.
He's researching
because I haven't been able to get a lot of playtime out of it.
I think there's a lot of people playing Gotham City Imposters and stuff. I remember Smokestorm X and a bunch of other, and was it Cast maybe, and Fuzzy and Co. A lot of NooBToobers were playing that game a while back now, when it first came out, big time, and they were getting loads of time in there. So I don't know if it's maybe like a drift off of people playing that's causing the matchmaking. Maybe, you never know.
I don't know. So I think there's 3 game types. There's a capture the flag kind of mode called Psych Warfare, and it involves the 2 teams, so the Bats and the Jokers, and they basically have to bring this battery thing to the base, and they have to defend it long enough for it to brainwash the other team. And it brainwashes the other team. Another mode is called fumigation, and it's basically, the capture the point kind of game type you see in Battlefield and Call of Duty. You capture and hold the points, and basically they have to hold this command post, get the gas level to 100%. And if they can basically get suffocated, and the goal is, I don't really know.
Defeat the other team. Let's face it.
Basically, all the game types is defeat the other team.
Wow.
And then there's team deathmatch, and there's a training mode. You can do challenges, earn gadgets, and like Eidolon said, you can buy the weapons and upgrades and whatnot with real money if you don't want to go through the game and unlock them through playing. Very much like Team Fortress 2, since it went free to play.
Yeah. Sometimes, anything more on that? Would you buy it? Would you not it? For the price it is? How much is it on XBLA at the minute?
It's 1,200 Microsoft points.
Let me check what it is on Steam. I think it was on offer this weekend. We just missed it. I think it was really cheap. It was like £5 this weekend. Now it's not, sadly. It's going to be more expensive, of course, because that's how these things go. I think it's... why can't I find it? That's because it's not on the front page anymore. I've just taken it off. There we go. It's £11.99 now. It was on a £5 deal this midweek. I think it was midweek deal, or this weekend just gone, because I remember seeing it. Didn't pick it up. But it is canon, supposedly. Well, supposedly canon. It's a fully licensed product. It's not like a fake Batman. It's fully licensed by DC Comics. So there you go. Anything else, Mania?
Yeah, don't pick this. I wouldn't recommend people picking it up as of right now, since of all the connection issues. And I checked the the Monolith website, which is the development team behind it, and I checked their forums, and apparently there's a whole whackload of people having connection issues for the 360, and Monolith seems to not be releasing a patch yet or a fix for the 360 players. They seem to be, from what people are saying, they're ignoring the 360 players of Gotham City Imposters and not releasing a patch to fix the online.
I think that's just moody people, because to be honest, the PC was broken at first and they fixed it. It takes time to fix these things. People need to have more patience. So wait until it's...
I'd say don't pick it up right now. If you're planning on getting it for 360, don't pick it up right now. Wait for the online patch to be fixed, the matchmaking to be fixed, because there's a lot of connection issues with the online right now. But if you have a decent enough PC, get it on Steam, because apparently from what I've heard, there is literally no connection issues with the Steam version.
Not anymore, and they've got an FOV slider and all that jazz. It's all good.
So I recommend getting it on PC, and if you don't have a gaming PC, wait till the fix for the Xbox version, because
it will come.
I spent the 1,200 points and only got to play 2 matches out of the 3 weeks of owning it, so...
It will be fixed. People need to learn a bit of patience these days, don't they? But I'm sure they'll fix it. If they fix the PC one, I don't see why they wouldn't fix the Xbox one, don't you? You know. Plus, there's lots of money to be made, you know.
Yep.
Micromanagement. Oh, so it's me again. Yay! Me with another game. Which one? We shall go for a MOBA game, which is League of Legends on PC, which I've only recently got into. I've had an account on it for like a year or so, but I've only started playing. I think I've just about completed a month worth of playing. I'm at level 16, which, if you've seen the leveling, takes friggin' ages. Basically, It's a MOBA-based game like Dota, which is, I forget the actual full title of Dota.
Defense of the Ancients.
That's it. It's there, but everyone refers to it as Dota these days, and there's loads of others, like Colossus or something, I think it's called. There's loads of them, anyhow, MOBAs, where you basically control one character who's a champion, you have minions, and it's like a tower defense / competitive PvP game, I would say, because you start the game, it's only one map, but they only keep it one map. There is 2 game modes, so there is 2 maps in that case. There's 1 map per game mode at the minute, and it's called Summoner's Rift, and there is turrets. There's 3 lanes. They refer to as lanes. You have a top, a bottom, and a mid. And in each of these, and then you have jungles between them with minions in. So think Warcraft 3. If you played Warcraft 3, you'll know what I mean when there's like neutral mobs in the jungles, and then there's lanes where you get minions that spawn and the enemy gets minions. Basically, you have teams of 5v5 for the most part, even though there's a free mode. And 5 champions. People pick 5 champions. They can be magical ones or melee characters or tanks. Loads of terminology that you learn if you play the game, and that most of you will be able to understand. Tank, obviously, really tough. Magical, they refer to as APE in the game, and all sorts of stuff. And basically, you have these 5 champions, and you team up. You go into lanes. You have your team spread out in certain roles. Some will be in a lane, like a top, mid, or bottom, defending the turret that is there. The 2 turrets per lane, and then you have a main base right at the back, which has its own turrets, and a nexus, which is your, if you like, the point. If the enemy destroys that nexus, you lose the game, but it takes them a while to get there. Basically, you spread up. You have some people jungling, which is where they go from jungle to jungle, killing the mobs instead of being in the field. There's all sorts of technology that I probably shouldn't drift into, really, because it will be complex, because I'm still learning it, and it's difficult.
Yeah, I suck at this game.
You suck at this game. But the basic way to describe it is it's a 5v5 team PvP game where you were basically fighting the opposing team's champions, with the main goal being destroying their turrets and destroying their nexus, or making them surrender by killing them an awful lot. And that's the entire point. You have champions, they're referred to as champions, and they have abilities, powers, that they can use. And it's a tactical game where you have to kill the opposing team, the opposing team's minions and the opposing team's turrets to win the game. There's many ways to win. You can destroy all the turrets, then kill the Nexus. You can just a war of attrition where you kill them so much that you're a higher level than them and have more money than them, and they give up. Or you can just like fight to a stalemate where eventually someone will win, but it could take a long time. Average game time is 30 minutes though. So I don't know. I think maybe you should ask me a question about lore instead of me having to try and describe it, and then I'll answer it.
I don't really have any questions because I play at League of Legends. There
you go.
I play as Annie. I bought Annie.
Oh, you have one champion. That's a good point that I can bring up. And the game has champions. There's like 7 free a week. I think it's 7. Could be less. I don't worry about the specifics. It's close enough. And there's also, and you have to buy the champions. It's like it's a free to play game. Let's put it that way. It's free to play, but to buy there's 95 champions, and you have to buy them. Except for you don't really, because you can earn in-game influence points by winning matches and playing matches, which eventually allow you to pay. The cheapest champion is 450 influence points, which is like win 1 to 2 games. That's it. You can afford a 450, and so on. And they go increase in price depending on age and ability and stuff. And basically, that's what you do. You earn money in-game. It's a bit like Batman Gotham City Imposters in that way, or you can pay your own money and buy Riot points and spend them on champions, but I'd highly advise not doing that because it tends to be a waste. Generally, when you're going to buy Riot points, it's to buy skins because characters have skins, to pimp up your character. They don't do anything. They're just new looks for your character. Use your RP for that. Always save up your influence points for champions. Never buy it with RP because they're generally overpriced when it comes to that, and you'll be paying a lot of your own money. So basically, that's the game, and you have 6 free per week. So even if you don't buy any champions, there'll always be some champions that you can play. And I guarantee, once you've won 2 to 3 matches, you can afford champions. So it's not like they make it hard for you to make them. When you own all the 450s and maybe all the 1,350s, then it gets a bit tougher because it'll take you days and weeks to buy them. But for now, it's brilliant. It's a free-to-play game. There's loads of NooBTubers playing it at the minute. So your best bet, if you want to play some LoL, look it up. Get on Skype and check out the forums. There is lots of us playing this right. It's the current hotness, I think, in MOBA for us lot. And it's great fun. Get yourself a team of 5, and it's a frustrating and a really difficult game to learn. And you will be at a disadvantage early level until you reach, I think it's like level 20, I'm not even there yet, where you have runes, which are a whole other part of the game, which I don't need to describe to give a review of the game because they're sort of not key to the game until you're playing ranked matches, which you won't be.
Which you can't do till you're level 30?
Yeah, supposedly. Though sometimes you can get in. It's a bit weird. Don't worry about it. And so yeah, I would check it out. It's a brilliant 5v5 game where you can get 5 NooBTubers or 5 friends that you got. Including yourself, of course, because there's only 5 per team. And then pick a champion and fight in a tactical match and try and win. And it's great fun. There's a lot of tactics. There's a lot to learn. I'm very much learning. But thankfully, there's a lot of people that are around the community that will really help you out when it comes to this game. So it's a brilliant game. I'd go check it out. It's LeagueOfLegends.com, I believe, is the website.
We can toss a link to the game in the thread if people want.
Yep. And generally, even if you're European like myself, we would advise that you make a North American account. So make sure you're in a North American account because most of us are North American accounts. Now, that doesn't affect you too much. It affects ping, but generally not really noticeable. In this kind of game. And I don't know if there's many of us on European accounts at the minute, so,
No, I don't think so.
Plus, it works out cheaper, dudes, because if you go on an American account and you buy Riot points, it's by dollars, and dollars are always cheaper in pounds. So there you go. So that's that. So that's League of Legends. It's an amazing game. I don't need to recommend whether to buy it or not, because it's not a buyable game. You go free to play, pick it up, try it, don't like it. There's a whole tutorial mode, and you can fight bots if you don't want to play against people. So don't feel scared of this game. Just get in there, check it out, and if you don't like it, well, then you don't. If you do, get involved on the Skype or Ventrilo or wherever people are going to play this game. It's great fun. You'll love it, though the community itself can be a bit idiotic. But, when you hang around with NooBTubers, it's not a problem anymore. But I'd definitely say if you're going to go on your own and you go into PvP or online against other people, just ignore them, because a lot of people will bitch at you because you won't be doing what they want you to do. I'd just ignore them because that's the only way to go, because everyone thinks they're best at everything these days, don't they? So yeah, that's League of Legends. Really love the game. Go check it out. Mania.
Yeah, so I'm gonna echo his opinion. Yes, go get League of Legends. It's awesome. I suck. Only level 3. I bought my first champion, who is Annie. She's a little girl. She uses her bare tibbers.
She's an
Another
AP.
thing.
There you go.
Yep.
There's a bit of specific shit.
A thing Eidolon forgot to mention though, with League of Legends is you have your 1, 2, 3, 5 hotkeys. You have your number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and those are your abilities. And when you get to level 6, you unlock your super, which for Annie, she summons her bare tibbers, who just goes
You
around.
have a weird ability because by when I play the game, it's QWE and R.
I have it set to my hotkey set to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
5.
By default, I believe it is QWER though, which I'm comfortable with, to be honest. If you're an MMO player, it can be a bit problematic. When I switch in between the next game that I'll talk about after Mania's finishes next one, it confuses me because that runs in numbers, this one runs in Qs. But, you know, there's also other hotkeys as well, Bs to recall. Let's not worry about hotkeys.
Nope. Get League of Legends. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
and
we need more people
there's always
to play.
people to play. Always people to play with. I'm always playing it.
The more people we can get, the sooner we can have tournaments and stuff. And NooBTooB
Yes.
only 5v5s, it'll be awesome.
Yes.
So what's on Mania?
Next for Manio is an interesting game. It's a free-to-play game on Steam. It's called Alien Swarm. It's made in the Source engine, actually, but it's free-to-play, and it's a top-down survival game, survival shooter / horror
You can
/
call it
stealth.
survival horror. Even if it includes aliens, it's called horror these days, isn't it?
Yeah, and basically it's a top-down aerial view, and it's 4-player co-op, and basically what it is you complete these objective missions, and you have to survive against these aliens. It's think of, how could I word this? It's like a mix of, it's a shooter. You have your guns, you have your classes, weapons, and you shoot these aliens and kill them.
Left 4 Dead, but from a top-down perspective and with
Yeah.
aliens. There you go.
So it's Left 4 Dead with aliens, top-down view, and it's hard as shit. I've been playing with a friend of the show, Oatnator. We've only two playing because we can't get anybody else to hop in our games and play because we don't like playing with randoms. That's no fun. We communicate with voice chat. We don't want to talk to these randoms. They can go away. So me and him play the game, and we played the first 2 missions, and we're like, oh, this isn't that bad, not that hard. We can do this. I was playing as a tech class, and the tech class is all based around opening, hacking computers, opening doors, like welding doors shut. He's basically the guy you need. He's the most, what would you say? He's the most desirable. Not desirable? But he's the guy you need to keep alive, because if the tech guy dies, everybody fails and the mission ends. You have to keep the guy who's tech alive. And we didn't know that when we were playing, and I wandered off to go kill stuff, and I died, and it ended. And we realized, yeah, the tech guy needs to stay alive, because he's the one hacking doors, he's the one hacking computers, he's the one that is the guy you need to keep alive. Whereas in most games, it's let's keep the medic alive so he can heal us. In this one, you got to keep the tech guy alive, but you also need to keep your medic alive if you have one, because there's different aliens that can affect your health. For example, there are these little alien parasites that run on the ground, and if they attack you, they latch onto your face, and they basically hump your face, and either to get them off of you, you need a med kit, which you press the 1 key on your keyboard, which is the hotkey for your equipment. You press that button, and you use it, and the alien dies. Or if you have a medic in your squad, he has this thing called the heal gun or something, and he shoots you, and he basically heals you while he shoots you, but the parasite, it kills the parasite. So to get rid of the parasites, you need to have a healing item or a medic. So when me and Oatnator were playing, I was playing as a tech class, and he was playing as the officer class, which I don't know what the officer does. All I know is the officer can place turrets and stuff. But but we had these parasites, and we couldn't kill them, and we found out, oh, the only person that can remove these is a medic, but neither of us had a health pack, so we were fucked either way. The game is, so what can I say from that? There's 4 classes. You have your officer, who is a turret guy. You have your special weapons class, which can use like flamethrowers and explosives, I believe. You have your tech class, which is the one I was talking about. You hack, basically just a hacking guy, and you need a tech guy in your group, or you actually can't play the game. It won't put you into the game until there's somebody playing a tech class. And then you have your medic, which is the guy who heals people, but the medics are incredibly weak, and they can get killed in no time flat. So protect your medics and protect your tech guys. Another thing I can add about Alien Swarm is it's an extremely punishing game. It the first couple missions are easy. They're not too difficult, but once you start getting into the different aliens and the different missions, the game gets insanely hard. We were playing on the easy difficulty, and we still kept getting totally annihilated, and we couldn't get past this one part on easy. And there's 4 difficulties. There's easy, normal, hard. Okay, no, so there's 5 difficulties. There's easy, normal, hard, and then there's brutal. So I have no idea what brutal is if easy is that hard. If easy is hard on its own. But yeah, it's a free-to-play game on Steam. It's got achievements, which is cool. You can get a Team Fortress 2 hat from playing Alien Swarm. Hats are always cool. But no, if you're into the whole survival horror genre, if you like cooperative games, if you want a good romp through killing aliens, having co-op fun, definitely pick this up. It's a really fun game. There's not many servers. Actually, not a lot of people play this from what I've seen, so it's best just to host your own server and play with friends. But it's definitely a recommendation. It's free on Steam, so if you have a good gaming PC, I definitely recommend checking out Alien Swarm.
You can even do it with a lower gaming machine.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, because the PC I'm rocking right now is, it's really low, because my gaming computer is in the other room. I haven't gotten time to fix it yet, but the PC I'm rocking right now is a Pentium 4 1.7 gigahertz, so it's a piece of junk.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we should actually mention with the PC games is that League of Legends, which we mentioned last, is easy to rock on a lower system, as is Alien Swarm and the next game that many will talk about, but the rest of them that we're going to talk about, which are very PC specific this week, tend to be a little bit more powerful. So always check your specifications before buying these sort of things, or downloading them for that matter.
Download the trials and see if your PC will handle it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alien Swarm, I had to put everything to low. I had to make the game look like complete, utter horse shit. But it plays, and the only downfall is for me playing is the game doesn't look pretty. It's all blocky and pixelated, but it plays perfectly fine, and it's a wonderful game. I'd highly recommend it to everybody who has a PC that can play video games.
Yep. So, it's free, and they brought out another one, didn't they, that you paid for, I think?
No, it's just Alien Swarm. There's another one on there called Alien Breed or something. I don't know.
Oh, well, that's Alien Swarm on Steam. That's the only place I know where to get it at the minute. Maybe there's some access elsewhere, but I don't think there is. So, the final game for me, which I've been playing way too much of, which I never thought I'd ever do ever again in this genre of game.
That's no problem.
It is Star Wars: The Old Republic, and my history of MMOs basically was EVE Online for 4 years, which I was a massive EVE Online player for a long time, and I gave that up because it cost too much for me. At the time I was younger, didn't have a job. A bit of WoW for like a month, maybe 2 months, never enjoyed it much. And Star Wars is the first one that I've actually paid. In fact, I would have got charged today for it, which I've enjoyed, and I don't know why quite. It's made by BioWare, and it's fully licensed, as you'd expect, and it's set in the Old Republic, obviously, which we're talking pre-Star Wars Episode 1.
It's 3,000 years before Phantom Menace.
3,000 years? Jeez, that's a long time. I didn't think it was that.
Yeah, I think it's a couple thousand, though.
It might not be, but I know it's quite a bit before that one anyhow. So, Star Wars: The Old Republic is an MMO, as you can guess. You have 2 sides, Sith Empire and Republic, which are awesome. And you have 4 classes per side. So, I'll whiz through them. The Republic have Jedi, Guardians, Consulate. I believe they're called. Or Counselors, yeah, there's different, I'm going to advanced ranks, so you see. Trooper and Smuggler.
Yep.
And for Sith, there is Sith Inquisitor,
Sith Warrior.
That's what the first Sith was, and Bounty Hunter and Imperial Agent. Now, on the Republic side, I've been playing a Trooper. On the Empire side, I've been playing an Imperial Agent. Now, you'd think that's a bit weird. A lot of people play Jedis and stuff first. I like them. They are fun to play, Jedis and Siths. But I just didn't get into them, and I don't know why yet. But basically, it's an MMO in the same ethic as WoW, anything else that involves you being on a planet or some world, killing mobs, and not flying around space like Eve would. Even though I'll come back to that later. But yeah, So basically, you go around to worlds, you level up, you do the standard MMO stuff, grinding. Not so grindy though. This game really easy to clear areas of missions in one night and get the entire world done. I think there's 16 planets currently, so there's 16 planets to go to.
Yeah.
And they get
16.
increasingly bigger. I have to say, the first world is like tiny. The ones that I'm sort of mid-game, I guess, that I'm on at the minute in some of my characters are humongous, and then the late game ones ridiculous. And basically, you run around, do the missions for people as you'd expect, but the entire sell point of this game, let alone it being looking awesome graphically, is it's all verbal. All NPCs, characters speak. There is voice talent throughout. Some is shitty, some is awesome, but everyone speaks, including your character, and the conversations play out like you'd expect a Mass Effect or Dragon Age game, because it's by BioWare, where you have the wheel, you have, in this case, light side and dark side choices that you can make, or neutral choices, and all this stuff, from some are like smarmy comments, and some are positive, and some are negative, and all this stuff, and they're all vocalized, and supposedly they have ramifications for the future. The light side and the dark side do, because if you increase in light side points, it unlocks more items in the light side shop, and the same with the dark side. So depending on which way you play your character, which I tend to play light side because I have been playing dark side with a Sith warrior, and I just find myself thinking that I'm a dick all the time.
That's okay.
But it's not much fun though for some reason. It just hurts. I don't know. But basically I've been playing this, so my trooper is like level 40 now. He's getting on in the game. My Imperial Agent I've only been playing for a few days, so she's level 24 now, and she's on Nar Shaddaa, which is near Tatooine. And basically, I'm just enjoying the hell of this game. All the classes play differently. The Jedi and the Sith Warrior, they're very sort of in combat, damage orientated, though you can make them tankier if you like. And then the Inquisitors and Counselors are like mages, I would define them as. The dark side play with lightning, mages. But they still have lightsabers. Then you got your Trooper, who's obviously a soldier with ranged weaponry. You got the Smuggler, who I haven't played, but tends to be lower end ranged weaponry, like pistols and stuff, that I don't know.
Han Solo.
Han Solo, basically, yeah. And the Imperial Agent is sniping or blaster weapons, which is really fun.
Yeah.
I'm playing one at a minute. That's why I said I'm playing a sniper. And the Bounty Hunter is a bit of range and a bit of melee. He has a flamethrower. It's fun. And basically, they all have two classes. Aside from all these four classes, there's two advanced classes per class. So for the Imperial Agent, I'll briefly use an example. You can be a sniper or an operative. Now, an operative is more sort of, I think it's like DPS per second, damage per second for all you guys out there. And that way oriented, and I think it has heals, while the sniper doesn't have heals and is more ranged, sort of nuking, if you like. Let's use a word where you basically hit the enemy with sniper abilities and stuff. And it's really fun, and all of them had two, and there's like 5 races per class or something. I've lost track, actually, because if you choose a Sith Warrior or a Sith Inquisitor, you can be a Sith Pureblood, while with the other two you can't be, but I think they have a class, another race that you can be. Maybe they don't. And I think the same for the Jedi, has like a special Jedi race as well. And it's just, in general, an awesome game. It has mounts, it has space combat, which I wanted to briefly go over, which is an on-rails space shooter. You've maybe seen me tweet about it. You have a spaceship, eventually you get a spaceship, where all your companions, which you have companions in this game, so you don't need to play it with other people if you don't want to, and they have their own storylines, etc., which is awesome, and you can gain, like, affection, if you like, which is the same as loyalty with Mass Effect and stuff. And these space combats are set missions around where you can go on and shoot things. It's an on-rail shooter, but you can move around the screen and shoot, and there's different stuff involved. It looks really cool, and it is fun to play, even though it's on rails, and they're going to advance that. It's very secret, BioWare keeping it all to themselves, but they want to expand the space aspect of the game. We don't know what they're going to do. Who knows? But there's a legacy thing coming out soon, which is like going to allow you to have a family tree, which is interesting, where, like, for instance, you can have a Jedi married to not a Jedi, because Jedis don't marry, but if you want it to be dodgy, you could have a Jedi as your dad and a Jedi Twi'lek as your dad, which is them long tentacle head people, and like an Imperial agent human as your mum, and they could get together and have a baby, and you'd get bonus, and you'd have another character of yours that's their child, and they would get bonus abilities from it, which is interesting. And also, if for instance you had a Sith Pureblood go out with a human smuggler or something, and the Sith Pureblood was your mum, you could be a Sith Pureblood in the Republic side. There you go. How interesting! It's basically through the legacy system you can unlock the opposing sides races as your race, which is amazing. It's a bit like saying, yeah, you can be Horde or Alliance, but you can be a Worgen on the Horde side. A bit like what the Pan does. And this is what's happening, and there's going to be bonus. For instance, if your mum was a Sith Pureblood, they say, and your dad was a human or something, your human would have Force Choke. There's different abilities and different things that you can unlock that are coming in, and that's what I wanted to hasten over. Other than that, it's an awesome MMO, which I really wish people would more play. I enjoyed doing some heroics, which are like their raids. I don't know.
Wouldn't it be instances from World of Warcraft?
Yeah, instances from World of Warcraft, but that at higher level, so you can't really solo them. And I was doing it with some guy yesterday or the day before. We did loads, and it was good fun. But I don't have any friends at the minute on tour. So, I want to advise more people to check out tour. There's a free weekend coming up.
Yep.
If
it's actually
time.
The free weekend started yesterday, and it ends on Monday.
Right, so there's that. So get it downloaded, see if you can run it. And also, I have some friend invites that I have somewhere on my account that I can give to people, which I will contemplate. If you're serious about this game, I'm not just going to give it to anyone. If you're serious about this game, because I only have a limit, I will give you a 7-day trial, and if you buy it, we'll both get a bonus. If you don't, then I don't get anything, but you played it. So check that out, and if you do play tour, I'm on the European, and this is amazing. There's no region lock-in. I can go to a North American server if I want, go to a European server if I want. Go to an Asian server if I want. Doesn't matter. I can go to any server I like. The tabs are up there. I can go to a North American, Europe, or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm playing on a European server just for latency because I'm so used to playing on American servers all the time. I'm playing on Hydian Way, Hydian Way. That's the server that I'm on there. If you find me, if you go on that server and hang out there, then pop me a message on NooBTooB or whatever, and we'll hook up in game and do some missions and stuff. But yeah, Star Wars: The Old Republic, amazing MMO. Not stretching too far away from World of Warcraft style of MMO, but it looks a lot nicer, and I think it expands upon the universe. I mean, it expands upon the genre quite effectively. I mean, hell, Guild Wars 2 doesn't come out for a while yet, so Last game for you, Mono, Mania.
Manio. A little note. I'm definitely getting the Old Republic.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
It's cheap as well. I believe it's £9. It's £9 per month for me in Europe, which, if you know, most MMOs is generally about £15, so it's cheaper. And I don't know what it is in the States.
But I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I'm definitely interested. Would you recommend this only to people who are in love with Star Wars, who like Star Wars?
I don't like Star Wars. This is the clincher here. I'm never been a Star Wars fan. I was always a Trekkie more than a Star Wars fan. I watched Star Wars: A New Hope the other day because Tor has got me reinterested a little bit in the universe. But I never was a Star Wars fan, never really. I was always into my Next Generation and Andromeda and Farscape. I was never into this sort of galaxy far, far away stuff. I liked stuff that was a little bit closer to home, I don't know. But I've never been a Star Wars fan, so there you go. I'm saying in itself. I'm not a Star Wars fan. There's codexes and stuff in-game, which is awesome. I love codexes that you can unlock so you can learn about the universe if you want to. I just really enjoy myself. There's a whole PvP section that I haven't even covered or any of that, which is all good fun. But you know what this game's about? This game's about experiencing it, and it's definitely fun playing a character, going around a world, especially like I was on Alderaan, which gets blown up. Which gets blown up in Star Wars. Spoiler, but it's like from 1970, so I'm not going to be worried too much that you haven't seen it. So I was on Alderaan, and it shows you a bit behind Alderaan, so you can at least see what it's like before it got boomied. So it's really interesting experience in the universe, yeah. So if you're not a Star Wars fan, I'd still try it. But you definitely need friends. It's a very lonely game, even though you don't need friends because you have companions. And there's a whole crew skill system. I would be talking forever if I covered any of that. There's lots to this game. There's a crafting system that's more functioning than WoW. And they've got loads of updates in the future, and they're hoping to support this game long time. So yeah, even if you're not a Star Wars fan, at least give it a go. Definitely find friends to play it with, because I haven't got any, and I'm getting a bit sad lately. But
Well, I'll be
okay,
downloading the free weekend trial after the podcast. So,
cool. So last game for you, which is a strange one.
so the last game for me is also an online multiplayer game, but it's played through your browser. This game is called Doctor Who: Worlds in Time. Uh, for those of you who don't know, I've been really addicted to Doctor Who lately. I've been watching the series, and I've been drawn really into the universe, drawn really into the franchise.
We'll make you a Brit yet.
And I was, just browsing through the internet, and I saw an advertisement for a PC game called Doctor Who: Worlds in Time, and I clicked on it. And it's a browser-based online multiplayer game, so it's kind of like a browser-based MMO kind of deal.
Ooh, yep.
But it's Doctor Who, and it's all two-dimensional. It's all 2D sprites, so it's not polygons. It's all two-dimensional in your browser, and you take the role of a companion to the Doctor. For those of you who don't know, the Doctor is a time-traveling Time Lord who basically doesn't die from age. He just changes what he looks like if he gets injured. So basically, you take the role of one of his companions, and you choose what you look like, whatnot. If you want to be a different race, you choose to be either a human, a weird cat-looking person, and something else. I don't remember. But you're basically a companion for the Doctor, and you're traveling around in his TARDIS, which is a time-traveling phone booth, and you are completing these little missions and gathering these little pieces of crystals, and I think they're called time crystals. But you're gathering these crystals, and you're completing these missions, and the missions are basically just little puzzles you do, and the puzzles are actually really cool, I have to admit. I haven't seen an MMO that's based solely around just completing puzzles, and I actually really, really like it. It's extremely casual. You can sit down for maybe 5 minutes and get a good play of it, and sit down.
Where's the
Pardon?
multiplayer aspect come into?
Oh, so the multiplayer aspect is, I don't actually know at the moment. Basically, I was walking around a town in London. I was basically walking around London, England, and you can see Big Ben in the distance. And there was some people walking around the town square, and they had their names above them. And I think you can talk to people, and I think you can trade clothing and whatnot. I don't know if there's any cooperative missions, because I haven't played much of the game yet. But all I know is you can talk to people and trade. I'm positive you can trade. Because right now my character is walking around in just his pajamas. For those of you who don't know, in the series, the Doctor tends to take people when they're sleeping, from what I've noticed. In Series 5, when he gets this girl known as... Oh, God, what's her name? Amy Pond. She's wearing her nightie or something, and he comes in and whatnot. But yeah, my character is wearing just pajamas, and he's walking through London, England, wearing just pajamas and nothing else.
Well, he doesn't do that as a prospect. Other companions that he's got, haven't been in pajamas.
That's true. Rory and Donna Noble. Anyway, so with Doctor Who, this game, I wouldn't recommend anybody playing it who hasn't seen Doctor Who or know anything about Doctor Who, because you'll be like, what the hell's going on? So if you're into Doctor Who, if you've watched a couple episodes, if you're curious about what's going on, then definitely check this out. It's actually a really cool experience for people who like Doctor Who. It's not an amazing game. It's got its flaws. It gets kind of boring after a while, but it's always good to waste time on if you have nothing to do and you got to do something.
Fun. Though I'm not Doctor Who hardcore enough to want to play it, but it's good to have it out there. Especially if there's, I don't know, some kind of payoff. Who knows?
You can dress you can get Time Lord clothing though, so that's cool. And you complete all the puzzles with the sonic screwdriver, which is this little flashlight thing he has, and it's got a green light on it, and it completes puzzles like unlocking doors. And some of the puzzles really are just like Tetris. So the door puzzles, you basically play Tetris. It's fun stuff.
Right, yeah. So, that's all our games, Mania.
Yeah, not much to say on it. It's a puzzly MMO like Puzzle Pirates.
I don't know what that game is either, but yes, carry on.
Yes, that's all I really have to say about it. If you're into Doctor Who, check it out. It's basically...
It's free, isn't it? So there you go.
It's free to play. Yeah, there's no money. I don't think you got to pay it. You can pay to get some stuff, but other than that, it's free to play. Play it on your browser. It's a good romp of time wasting if you want to waste time.
Yay.
That's all I have to say about it, though.
Cool.
So, I guess we're going to move on to our next segment, which is Open Your Eyes, which is our what have you been watching kind of deal.
Yeah. won't spend too long on it this week. We've spent so long talking about games.
I know.
But it's been a long time, so people, if you're still listening, good on you. We're going to talk about some non-gaming stuff now, which is going to be fun. So let's have fun.
Yep.
So I'm going to kick off with... when do I have Warehouse 13. I'm going to kick off with that. I think it's yes, it is Warehouse 13. Warehouse 13, which is a American. As Manio becomes more British, I feel I'm becoming more American, even though he's Canadian. But actually, I have to say Warehouse 13 is filmed in Canada, so, some of it is.
Fantastic.
As is most sci-fi, I've noticed. A lot of sci-fi programs, like Sanctuary and the like, all seem to get filmed in Canada.
Yeah, Supernatural's filmed in Canada.
Quebec, that way on. I don't know what's on about Canada, but they love their sci-fi. I'm going to move there. But basically, Warehouse 13, which, if you haven't heard of, is... best way to describe it. It's a CBS. I think it's CBS. Oh, no, it's sci-fi, isn't it? It's not CBS. I get confused. It's a sci-fi-based series based upon two characters who are called... I forget their goddamn names. But basically, these two agents who are from the FBI or Secret Service go and work in this new part of the town, which is called... which is like the secret Warehouse 13 side. See, it's been a while since I watched it, but I wanted to highlight it. Basically, these two agents, who I forget the name of, which is disgraceful, go work in this warehouse where their entire goal is to capture and catalogue weird artifacts that cause weird things to happen. X-Files-esque in a way, yes. Basically, they go around, and these artifacts that are usually related to famous people like Isaac Newton and various famous stars, Marilyn Monroe, and all this stuff, artifacts from their life and stuff they made in their life, and that have special powers, or like are so advanced that they've had to be catalogued. It's really a hard one to describe. And they go around because obviously these artifacts, when they get into the wrong hands, cause trouble, and they sort of capture them and take them to the warehouse, which is a ginormous warehouse, which is enormous, which is where they're all kept. And these agents' roles is to go out and get them back, or to stop bad people from using them for bad means. And so, yeah, it's quite light-hearted, it's great fun, and I don't know why I can't remember so much, because it finished a few months back now, because I was watching it as Americans watched it. It's kind of not as fresh in my mind as I thought it would be, but basically it's a really good sort of sci-fi artifact capturing, and it's interesting from a historical point of view, where they use historical basis for things, and you've like got various people, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but they're artifacts which existed in the real world technically, but like they're special in this program, because supposedly they've replaced all the sort of proper artifacts with fake ones. This is how they stop people from finding out the secret powers of some things or whatever. And basically that's all it's about. The agents have a nice little sort of partnership / sexual frustration that seems to be between them, but then it tends to turn into a little brother and sister. I don't know, it's a bit weird. And there's other characters that get introduced in later seasons, like season 2. And all in all, I really like this series, and I will be watching it more. I would look it up if you have not heard of it, because my description of it was poor. But if you like sci-fi, and you like maybe X-Files, but not quite on the supernatural side as much, more on the technological side, then you'll definitely like Warehouse 13, and it's got a nice sense of humour to it, and it's quite light-hearted a lot of the time. There's a lot of jokes in every episode, so it manages to be quite serious at times while maintaining a humour, if you know what I mean. But that's all I have to say on it, because I'm really, for some reason, gone blank when it comes to Warehouse 13 all of a sudden. But definitely check it out. It's on Sci-Fi. You Americans will be easy to get it. If you're Brit, you'll have to look around a bit more. The season finished a few months back. There's a new season this year, some point this year. I know it was the sister program of Eureka, which got cancelled, but Warehouse 13 hasn't been cancelled. So, there you go. Mania, any questions? I lost the plot.
I saw a preview of it on a channel here called Space, but I never watched it, wasn't interested.
Definitely, if you like sort of artifacts and like interesting, this is one series that have overarching plots that I love when series do this, where bits of the overarching plot will appear in episodes, if you know what I mean. Or
yep.
It's amazing because it makes everything feel more real instead of being episodic like Next Generation went, and a lot of good sci-fi programs tend to go. because obviously it's hard for them to keep people to do like 18 episodes and for them to keep it overarching, because some of them just can't do it. But Warehouse 13 does it and does it damn well, and it has sad moments, and sometimes something will hit you in the face and you'll be like, wow, did not expect that. Especially in the latest season, just gone, or the season before, some depressing and sad things happen, which you don't expect, and are equally amazingly done. And it's a really good program. I would check it out, and I apologise for forgetting most of it because it's been a while, but I wanted to put it out there as a series that you should go and look at. I think it's 3 seasons have been shown so far, so the season's out there to go and get your hands dirty on, if you know what I mean. And 4th season will hopefully be coming out this year. So, and
go get dirty.
It's worth noting that it was written by the Farscape creator.
Oh, cool.
And the co-executives are the guys that did Battlestar Galactica. But so there you go, big names, and it's filmed in Toronto, Ontario. So it's also filmed in Canada.
It's filmed in Toronto?
Yeah.
Sweet, that's an hour away from me. Fantastic.
There you go. Everything that is sci-fi gets filmed in Canada. It's a thing. I don't know. It just is.
I might have to check Warehouse 13 out then.
Yeah, even though it's shown in America, it's filmed in Canada. So yeah, that's all I have to say on it. I'm sorry that I forgot it, but go and search it. There's Wikipedias that know more than me, supposedly, since I forgot. But I remember the series and I could describe episodes, but I can't think of a way to put it into really good context. So yeah. What's your first choice, Mania?
My show that I'll be talking about first off stretches back all the way to the 60s. And this show is Doctor Who.
You saw it coming? The PC game?
I haven't been watching since the 60s. I started watching with the last 2 episodes of Series 4, which was David Tennant, who is the previous actor who portrayed the Doctor. His last 2 episodes were one episode, I don't remember. Then there's the episode where he basically gets mortally wounded or something, and basically takes a lot of radiation on, and he regenerates, and that's how the Doctor stays alive. If he gets injured and is on the point of dying, he will regenerate into a new person. So he regenerates into the 11th Doctor, who is now portrayed by Matt Smith, and has been in Series 5, 6, and will be in Series 7 this fall. So I've been watching Series 5 and Series 6 of Doctor Who, and basically Doctor Who is about a time-traveling, like I mentioned when I was talking about the game, is about a time-traveling alien known as the Time Lord, known as a Time Lord, and he's called the Doctor, and he's from a planet called Gallifrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he basically travels around the whole. He travels around time. Space and time, that's what I was going to say. He travels around space and time in a blue phone box called the TARDIS, and he basically picks up people for adventures called his companions, and he's currently traveling with 3 really major companions. He travels with 2 more often than the other one, but the 2 companions he travels with right now are Amy Pond and another boy, and then her husband, which named is Rory Williams.
Something like that, yep.
And they travel around in this phone box, and they basically solve problems that's going on in time and space. It's a really cool show, actually. I remember when Eidolon talked about it on the show last year, he talked about watching an episode about a woman in an astronaut suit, which is the first episode of Series 6. And it's actually a really cool show. It's confusing. I'm going to have to say it's really confusing to get sometimes, because it deals a lot with, time and traveling and, wait, how did this happen? Why is the Doctor still alive? He should be dead. He's died multiple times in time, and it's a very confusing show.
He's died 11 times, to be precise. Each time a new actor stops playing them, they get a new actor. So he's died a lot. The Doctor dies a lot.
It's really hard to tell somebody about the show if they haven't watched it, because it's confusing. So besides his time-traveling phone booth, he has a sonic screwdriver, which he can use to open doors and solve stuff. He's pretty much it seems like he's pretty much a time-traveling detective kind of deal, but he's a doctor. It's confusing.
If you get confused, watch the first season of the new era of Doctor Who, or search it online. But then I have the benefit being British, since the program is British, that I remember the 80s episodes because they rerun a lot in the early to mid-90s when I was a kid, and a lot of my fellow Brits will know. So not so much aware of the 70s and 60s, but the 80s Doctors. I think it was the 80s or the 70s episodes, I forget. But they rerun them a lot when I was young. So we didn't really have the confusion you guys do over there because we've been with Doctor Who for a very, very scarily long time. I think it was 19...
It started in
1960.
It started. The Doctor Who is also holding the record for the longest running sci-fi television show. It started in 1963.
It was the 80s episodes because they was running until 1989, which was the year I was born. My Doctor was completely different to your Doctors. Everyone has their own Doctor because I was with the early Doctors. I mean, God, it's a long time, dude. It's been going a very long time. He's died a lot. There's
1963.
If you want to watch every single episode, guys, I mean, there's about 800, so, good luck.
Yep.
It'll keep you going. And but if you don't want to have to go all the way back there to kind of grasp things, because a lot of the universe has changed since then. Just go back to 2005, because 2005 was when the first season of the new era of Doctor
David Tennant.
It didn't
David
have,
Tennant.
No, it didn't have David Tennant in at all.
Oh,
Christopher
Eccleston.
There you go, you see. But if you want to not be confused, go to there, and they kind of do sort of describe the universe from there onwards. And if you follow it from then, you won't have such a problem. But if you're still struggling, search it online. There's lots and lots of Doctor Who fan stuff around. So Doctor Who's awesome. I'm glad that you're watching it, actually. I'm glad to see.
Love it.
Because they only recently, was it last year or the year before, started to show it in America, like officially?
Yeah, last a couple of years ago.
So it is and it's supposedly it's massive in America, in certain parts already. So it's doing something right, and I'm glad to hear it. It's going to take the Americans and Canadians a little while to catch up, to understand Doctor Who, but it's definitely a program that needs much love. And yeah, this season coming up is Matt Smith's last one. So if you don't want to jump in the middle of a Doctor and want to try it fresh, the end of this season, the next season after this, we'll have a new Doctor. Whoever that will be, we don't know, but it'll be someone. So there you go.
It'll be me. I'll be the next Doctor.
Yes, you will be the next Doctor. I don't think they've hired a Canadian yet.
But no, yeah, definitely. If you're into the whole sci-fi, crazy universe, definitely check out Doctor Who. If you don't want to go back all the way to the 60s, maybe check out, Series 5, which is the first episode of Matt Smith's debut as the Doctor. That's where I started, and I'm enjoying it. I'm going to go back and see if I can find stuff with David Tennant, because he's an amazing actor. So, yeah,
he's a very good Doctor, and there was a lot of sort of outcry when he left because he's a very good Doctor. But Matt Smith, every single time a new Doctor comes along, there's this outcry, and every single time the next actor gets just as much love. It's quite cool. So I'm going to move to White Collar, which is my second and final program that I've been watching lately that I wanted to call out. The season recently ended. I don't know if you heard of White Collar, Mania?
No, I haven't.
No, you haven't. You see, no one's heard of
Nope.
these. This is another American program that I have to watch through the internet because, the UK sucks sometimes and we don't get everything. And it's on USA Network, which is a channel in the USA. And it's about a character called Neil Caffrey, who's like a con artist. And he was in prison for a while. He's young still, though. He got sent to prison when he got captured by an FBI agent called Peter Beck. And they bring him out in the first season to help him solve crimes as a consultant. And he's tagged so he can't run away and stuff. But he's a young, kind of cheeky, sort of clever con artist who the FBI bring out to help capture someone. And then he gets kept on. And we're into season 3 so far. So he's still be going. And it's really interesting because it's all about white-collar crimes, as the name says. It's all about art thieves and sort of clever criminals rather than ruffian criminals, like murders and stuff. There's plenty of programs out there. But this is about, like, art dealers and stolen pieces of artwork and stuff and all sorts of jazz. And it's really good fun. You have Peter Beck, who's the agent, and Neil Caffrey. They're the two main characters in the entire series. But they have a brilliant supporting cast of people like Peter Beck's wife and Neil Caffrey's friend Mozzie, who is amazing, and played by an actor who I really need to remember the name of. Willie Garson, that's it. he appeared in something and I can't think what it was. But it's a really awesome TV program based around this whole white collar crimes in New York. I believe it's New York. I think it's New York. And really, they go around solving these white collar crimes, and there's overarching again, which is something I love in TV programs. Overarching storylines. Each season has an overarching storyline of some form going on, and in fact, the season 1 overarching storyline sort of went over into season 2 as well, which had an overarching, and the overarching storyline evolved, if you like, and then 3, like, it's slightly different, and it's very interesting. And the entire program, one of the biggest pulls of this entire program is that you see the con artist Neil Caffrey go from, out of prison con artist, to beginning to enjoy working with Peter Burke, who's the guy who caught him, who he works with now, who caught him in the first place. He was uncatchable before, and gradually they progress, and you see friendships evolve over the seasons. And then the 3rd season had a massive cliffhanger that I won't mention, which kind of threw everything up in the air. And it's just really interesting. And there's some great writing going on in this program. And you know what? I love programs like Criminal Minds and CSI to a lesser degree that deal with murderers and stuff. But, it's interesting to watch a program that deals with the FBI dealing with white-collar crimes and artworks, because there tends to be cleverer things. Like, they're always having to, run cons of some form to try and catch this guy, much to the FBI's disdain. But Neil Caffrey uses his skills as a con man to help out the FBI, sometimes in ways they don't want him to help out, but he does anyhow. Peter Burke has to cover a lot for him. And it's just great fun. I can't stress enough how much fun this program is. And it's only in 3 seasons so far, and there will be another season coming up, so it's not been cancelled out. It's getting good ratings, and I really enjoy it. So all in all, I'm really enjoying American TV right now. They seem to, I don't know, British TV's been very stale lately. It seems to have been taken over by reality shows like X Factor, which is over to the States now as well.
Fantastic.
Britain's Got Talent and all that rubbish. But there's no overarching series anymore over here. It doesn't feel like it anyhow. All the good stuff seems to be over in the States. So I've been watching a lot of American TV for that very basis. And there's a lot more American TV I've been watching lately as well, which is just weird. While the Canadian in the podcast is watching British programs. There we go. And Walking Dead, which is what Mania's going to talk about next, has a British actor, I believe, isn't he, or something?
Yep, the guy who plays Rick Grimes is British.
Yeah, so that's White Collar, so I'm finished on that, and we'll move over to Mania for his last TV program. Amazing.
Oh, and the guy, Willie Garson, only thing I know he was in was Sex and the City.
That's probably not where I saw him from, but yeah.
Oh, I watched Sex and the City. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is Walking Dead Season 2, which ended a couple weeks ago. Oh my god, Season 2 was fantastic. Did you watch Season 2, Eidolon?
I haven't even watched Season 1. I'm not...
What is this? What is this blasphemy?
I'm not a fan.
You don't like zombies?
I'm bored of zombies, I think.
Yeah, zombies are dying.
No, zombies are getting more and more. There's that stupid Yakuza game coming out, which is zombies.
Yeah.
There's some
Dead
other
Island.
stupid zombie games.
Dead Island.
Dead Island, which is disgraceful. And
I liked it. And then
I loved
played
it. Don't
more.
get me wrong. I loved it when I was playing with people, but I hated it.
And then I hated it
afterwards. And then you've got the only good zombie thing I've seen coming around is Project Zomboid. That looks awesome.
That game is fantastic.
If it has co-op, it will be amazing.
I love it.
And
love it.
Willie Garson, I've seen him in Stargate. That's where.
And
Buffy the Vampire Slayer and all them.
Yep.
It's all
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
There we go. So there we go. Back to Walking Dead. I knew I'd seen him somewhere.
He's also in Star Trek.
Yeah, Voyager.
So yeah, Walking Dead Season 2 basically delved a little bit more into the characters. Rick Grimes, all them people in the group walking around killing zombies. But Season 2 mostly takes place at a barn, in a farmland kind of deal.
Which seems stupid.
With a man named Herschel. And at the end of the season, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the end of Season 2 and you don't want anything spoiled, skip ahead. Season 2, Walking Dead ends with the farm, getting attacked by zombies, and a lot of people died.
Let's not go that far into spoilers. Come on now. Let's not.
Spoilers.
People die. That will do. People die. So people don't want to know.
Yeah.
I've not seen it, remember, so I might watch it one day, so don't spoil. that for me.
So it's a good show. It's definitely one of the most. It's definitely one of the better pieces of zombie-based media
Can
that
you
we have.
explain to me, though, how do zombies end up at a farm? If it's in the middle of
Uh,
nowhere, do they just all, like, oh, there's no humans to eat in the city?
they explain how the zombies get to the farm.
They just decide that there's no humans to eat in this city anymore. Gonna go wandering around the countryside. Off we go.
No, well, they're walking through. They see a helicopter and they follow the helicopter out of curiosity, and then they're walking through a woods out of nowhere, and a kid shoots a gun, and the zombies get attracted to the gun, and they follow the sound to the farm.
Oh, right, that makes perfect sense. Okay, carry on.
But it's definitely one of the better pieces of zombie-based media that's been out in the past couple of years, because all of the films and movies that have been coming out about zombies lately have been utter dog shit. Like the Resident Evil movies, those have always been bad. The first one is maybe the only good one. The others have been horrible.
There's a new Resident Evil game, though. It looks alright.
Operation Raccoon City, which...
No, not Raccoon City. 6, is it?
Resident Evil 6 coming out in the fall. So, get some
Not my cup of tea.
bro-op action on
I don't know
that,
about
but no,
Raccoon City. I haven't played Raccoon City.
that game has been getting a lot of shit.
Maybe because it's not got enough horror.
But so yeah, Walking Dead season 2 definitely it was loads better than the first season. Lots of death, lots of zombies.
Yeah.
Actually, no, there's not as many zombies in season 2. There's actually hardly any zombies in season 2.
As it turns into survivors, doesn't it? Season 2 has turned into survivors. The Triffids have taken over London and the world, but these guys are eking out an existence on a farm and trying not to die.
Season 2 is more of the emotional... yeah, Season 2 is more of the emotional stages of what would happen in a global pandemic event. People turning on each other, fights, drama, sex, lots of sex.
Sounds like Game of Thrones.
So if you're into people having sex and people punching each other and little girls
and
getting
zombies
killed, zombies. If you're into zombies and sex, season 2 is for you.
Both at the same time.
lots of necrophilia in Walking Dead.
Is there?
So if you're into someone going into a morgue and sucking back a few cold ones, check out Walking Dead season 2.
I mean, sort of sex seems to be the hotness in big series these days. Game of Thrones. Yeah. I don't know.
Game of Thrones. I haven't seen it myself.
I guess them petitioners are hating everything right now.
There's no sex in Doctor Who.
Should be.
Amy
Pond's hot. Well, Karen Gillan, shall we say.
Isn't she? Isn't she?
Yeah,
she's very attractive.
Her last season is this season, I believe, coming up.
Yep. She's in the first 5 episodes, and that's it.
And then we get a stupid Emmerdale star, who Emmerdale's a soap in the UK. You don't worry about it. It's set on a village.
And what sucks is they said that she's going to go out, her and Rory are going to leave the season in like a very emotional way. And I'm like, but she's hot. She can't die.
Yeah, they're going to kill them both. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So yeah,
she's hot.
That's all our programs.
Hot Karen Gillian.
Hotness programs of programs.
With sex with zombies.
And zombie sex. And stuff.
Zombie sex.
And artifacts. Okay, what are we doing next then, Mania? What are we doing next?
The next up we would have game culture, but we have literally nothing to talk about, so we're going to hop straight to food of the week.
Plus, we've been talking for so long, we wouldn't have been able to cover that section or something anyhow.
Yeah, so food of the week. We have today is Good Friday for all you people. Actually, no. For some of you, it's not Good Friday anymore. It'd be...
It's 49 minutes past midnight, so yes, it's not. It's Easter... No. It's just Saturday. There is no special day. There's like 3 special days, except for Saturday. Saturday I don't care. Sunday matters, and Monday matters, and Friday, and that's it.
So, we're talking about Easter-based food, so hot cross buns, chocolate, and fish.
Yeah, all 3, not together, preferably. And all 3 of these I'm not a fan of, so I don't know. I'm not going to have much to say. Hot cross buns, for anyone who doesn't know, are buns that have currants in, and they're an Easter thing.
Yep. And then there's a famous children's song named after them. Hot cross buns, da da.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not my cup of tea, it's currants. And chocolate is a given for all you people that like to eat a lot of chocolate.
I don't like chocolate myself.
This is like the best weekend ever. And then there's fish, of course, because today is Good Friday, and it celebrates the day that Jesus gave loads of fish to people or something.
Yeah. Jesus. Today is the day Jesus went on the cross, and before he did, he gave everybody loads of fish. He went out fishing. He had a fishing trip with all his
Isn't Good
buddies.
Friday about him like bread and fish that he gave to people? He like separated one piece of bread and fed 1,000 people.
I think it's the day he said, "Everybody, the bread is me. I am bread," or something with his flesh being bread and his blood being wine. So I don't know.
Oh no!
But he died and gave everybody fish. That's all I know.
It's the crucifixion that happened today for whatever reason, and
so he got nailed to a cross and gave everybody fish.
Well, he had a day of feasting. Oh no, the Catholic Church have a day of feasting. That's it.
Oh.
I don't know why they eat food. I guess that's to celebrate the Last Supper or something. I don't know. I'm not religious. Did you know that?
It reminds me of a religious joke I heard from a pastor, but I'm not going to say it because it's offensive.
Yeah, let's not offend our religious audience if they exist. So yeah, fish is eaten today for whatever reason. People like fish. People like chocolate. People like hot cross buns. Yeah.
I don't like chocolate. I don't like hot cross buns. I like fish.
So, all in all, we can't really talk about any of it. But, if you're having some nice food that's any of these, and you're having fish or eating loads of chocolate eggs, feel free to divulge them details and tell us how many eggs you got, because I'm not getting any, because no one will buy me any.
My favorite Easter food by far, though, is chocolate, and it's those Cadbury cream eggs that you, take a bite out of, and they got, the cream inside. Oh, yum.
Yes, I know what cream eggs are. I'm British. Cadbury's.
So good.
Cream
so
eggs are, awesome.
Mini eggs are good, too.
Mini eggs, too. And Easter eggs in general are awesome when I couldn't eat them, but nowadays I don't eat them. But, there'll be ample chocolate supplies next week when they all get cut down in price because Easter's over. Yeah. All the Easter eggs go on sale.
All of you can get your Easter snacks when they're cheap.
Yes. And some of you get days off, you bastards, because I didn't. I don't get any day off this weekend. But some people get nice days off, so I guess that's the only good point of Easter. We have days off if you work.
And you get to eat lots of chocolate and get fat.
Yes, so amazing food of the week there that we can't discuss because we don't like any of it, and I don't like fish, so it would be a very one-sided conversation with not a lot going on with fish.
Fish is really good.
Interesting fish fact, Grimsby Town is the only place where you get haddock as your base fish rather than cod. You have to ask specifically for cod. There you go. There's a fish fact here. If you go to a fish and chip shop anywhere in the UK generally, you will get cod and fish. Cod and chips. You know what cod is, I'm guessing. But
yes, I do.
In Grimsby, I don't know why, and we're called haddock heads. I don't know if it's a nickname, one of them weird things. No, we don't hear it anymore because it's changed.
Fish heads.
You get haddock and chips as a base food, and you have to ask specifically for cod. It's a very strange thing. There you go. That's all I know about fish. I don't like fish. Hell, I've worked in a factory. I've seen how them fish are prepared. You don't want to be eating them.
Another fun fact, all the fish and chip shops around here suck.
Yeah, well, it is Canada,
Fish is all greasy and soggy.
Fish and chips is no good unless it's in the UK because, Americans do it, it's too greasy, fatty. Canada does it, too greasy, fatty. There we go. But, you'd be surprised how much of the fish over here gets exported elsewhere because, I don't know, it's not as popular as it used to be fish. Don't know why. But, so fish cakes and stuff. Yeah, for the win.
Fish sticks and custard.
Yeah, if you're weird. And so, yeah, that's that section. If you like fish or chocolate or hot cross buns, please inform us so we can mock you.
Another shameless Doctor Who plug. Fish sticks and custard.
Yes. So that's the food of the week. I hope you all don't die because you eat too much chocolate.
Yep. Don't get diabetes or whatever.
Good point.
Yeah.
Drink plenty of fluids, and you'll be able to eat more eggs.
That's right.
There we go.
Take healthy dumps, and you'll be fine. So, our next topic is news and gaming, which is a new segment we're trying out here.
It's the final section because this is a long podcast.
And there's no mailbag questions.
No, failure.
No.
No one got in touch. So I'm going to kick off the new section because this is something close to my heart. That also makes me hate everything in the world. And that is Mass Effect 3 Extended Cut has been announced by BioWare. Now, the backstory to this is that Mass Effect 3 had an atrocious ending that I didn't enjoy and a lot of people
Which I wouldn't know because I haven't played the game yet.
that I can't really talk much about because people don't want to be spoiled. But let's put it this way, for me on a personal level, and it just didn't have... I mean, in fact, I'll give some validation why I think the ending sucks. One, the logic of the last 10 minutes of the game, if you like, totally blew everything that had come in the previous games out of the water. Like, all the logic that had appeared in the previous games and the lore that tells the background behind how things work and what doing certain things does, if you know what I mean, totally gets thrown out the window when it comes to the ending, which is the first point of contention about it. The second is that it didn't have any closure. In fact, it had no closure, really. Your character's story ends, but your companions and stuff, there's no closure. What happened to them afterwards? Well, there is some flick that happens to them afterwards, but it doesn't look good, and it looks a bit retarded, and also flies in Logic's face. And basically, with the extended cut, they're hoping to, I don't know, satiate the haters, that as people like to call us, even though, I have to say, the retake Mass Effect, which is the sort of movement to get the Mass Effect ending redone to be deserving of a great series, has been perhaps some of the most tame and sort of polite campaigning I've ever seen. Hell, we gave them cupcakes, you know. So basically what they've done is they've said they're going to expand the original ending with additional cinematic sequences and an epilogue scene. Whatever that means, we don't know what it means, but supposedly it's coming in summer and they've had to move DLC around, fit it in. Whether it was planned before or not is a point of contention. But basically, this is just like a free DLC that they're giving that's going to extend the ending, I don't know, and answer people's questions while maintaining the team's artistic vision for the end of the story arc. Which, to me, the story arc's ending was stupid anyhow. So, you know, we wasn't looking for, like, ponies and happy thoughts, but, you know, it was retarded what happened at the end, and made all the previous 3 games make no sense or be worthwhile playing ever again. And since, I haven't touched Mass Effect 3 since beating it. I haven't played the multiplayer, which I thoroughly enjoy and recommend people play, and nothing, because it's so hit as a player, as a fan of the series, that I'm not happy. But they've done this extended cut to supposedly solve some of my questions, maybe, and what others have been saying. But, you know, they're saying it's not a new ending, it's just an extended ending. Whatever that means, if there's still colours involved, fuck them. So, that's the Mass Effect 3 extended cut announced. It's going to be in summertime. They haven't announced the date, but it's been announced, and I'm still not happy with the entire of BioWare. And they get brownie points for Tor, but they lose brownie points for Mass Effect 3's ending. Last 10 minutes of that game, devastated. But that is the extended cut, and all the discussion aside, it's nice to see that they're doing something free. It's not going to be charged, so if it was going to cost money, then I'd be really unhappy. But since it's not going to cost money, I'm neither excited or unhappy about it. I'm sort of in between. I'm sort of like, it could be good, it could help, it could really sort of satiate the burning questions I have, or it could not. And hopefully the others of you that have played it and finished it or hated the ending will be able to sort of make your own thoughts on it. But personally, from a personal level, if anyone wants to argue that the ending was fine, just come to me on Skype and I'll go through all the different specific lore stuff that makes it all sound like they designed the lore of the game completely separate to the ending. The last 10 minutes throws all the conventions out the window, let's put it that way, and makes no sense, and involves colours, which, yay. If all games end with colours, God help us all. So, we shall see what the extended edition does. It might help, it might make me not hate them so much, or it might make me not hate them at all. We'll see what happens, shall we? But that will be coming sometime this year, by the end of summer. So, be excited, don't be excited. It's been an interesting sort of campaign, this whole retake Mass Effect. I've been involved in it, and Mass Effect 3 is a very interesting point of contention that a lot of people have been discussing, and, you know, it's really cool to see people discussing a game. It goes to show how important gaming is in people's lives nowadays. Not like overreaching into our lives, but like it's a key cultural aspect for society, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's that. Next news topic, unless Mania wants to add out, even though he's not beat the game.
I haven't played Mass Effect 3, so I don't know why. I don't know how bad the ending is. Apparently,
You played 2 and 1.
Of course, I have.
So you haven't played 3. Okay, don't buy 3. But I'm at the point where I say, well, don't buy it if you're not prepared to be disappointed. You will be disappointed. In all likelihood, some people aren't, and I've seen different people's tweets saying they're okay with it. But Mass Effect 3 was an awesome game, except for the last 10 minutes. I wasn't too fan of the pinging and all that jazz, but, it's better than scanning the planet, I guess.
I did play the demo. I played the demo.
The multiplayer was amazing. I don't think Mania was involved in us a lot when we was playing the demo, but there's a lot of us playing the multiplayer a lot, and there's still, I think, Mono, friend of the show Mono, is playing it.
He's always playing it.
He's played a lot, and he's not so unhappy with the end. Well, he's not pleased with the ending, but he's not unhappy either. But he loves the multiplayer, and all credit to him. But sadly, the single player just burnt me so much in a weird way that I kind of can't bring myself to play multiplayer. I played it a little bit after beating it, but then I sort of just totally drifted off. I was like, this game, I know what happens at the end. Everything I did doesn't seem to matter anymore. It was a bit of a weird one, that's for sure. So yeah, Mass Effect 3 is a good game until you reach the last 10 minutes. And we won't be discussing it on this show because I will just rage for an hour. I've already just raged for like 10 minutes there, so
yeah,
it wasn't really raging. But
playing lots of yeah.
If we had a Mass Effect 3 game review, I would love it, except for the ending. So there's my review of Mass Effect. Awesome, built on the dynamics of everything else that came before. The pinging was a bit silly, but everything else was cool. Ending sucked. Cock. There we are.
Ending sucked.
Next
Harry
news.
Reaper cock. Yeah. Shadowrun Kickstarter successful.
Yes. You know what that... do you want me to go through it?
I saw something about it. Sunflower linked something in IRC about... Was it Sunflower? Yeah, Sunflower linked something about Shadowrun on Twitter about it going for a Kickstarter, and the developer behind the original Shadowrun game that came out on the Sega Genesis... Well, the old Shadowrun game is apparently going for a 2D remake or something. I don't know the whole details about it.
I wouldn't say it's a 2D remake, really. It's an interesting one. I don't know if I'm much of a Shadowrun fan. Shadowrun's that game that was on the Xbox 360 at the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which was the online-only game, which had linkability into PC, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know a great deal about Shadowrun, but I do know about the game, the sort of lore behind it. It's been going for a long time, like the 80s or something, Shadowrun. And basically it's a world where every 100,000 years or something, magic comes back to the world, and people start to be born and become elves or whatever, or become orcs and trolls because their dormant genes are there. So magic returns, and people have magic, and there's technology, and it's Blade Runner and Lord of the Rings are two of the big places they pull in one of the descriptions. That's quite apt from what I've played of Shadowrun, the previous one, from what I've heard and seen. It's basically a futuristic-ish world, like Blade Runner, and yet some weird fantasy going on with magic coming back to the world in Shadowrun. It's like futuristic magic stuff. And it's cool. It is really cool. But they're making a 2D single-player game, which is okay, but... they could have got the money to make a 3D one. I'm all for, retroing, but I don't see why people feel the need to retro to the point where it's 2D. You don't need 2D anymore. Why don't you just do it 3D? And supposedly it's going to be for Apple and Android tablets and PCs, which in itself sucks, to be honest, because I'm not a fan of tablets, and I don't like mobile gaming taking over, because generally mobile gaming tends to be dumbed down. Some people like it, it's not, but it tends to be dumbed down or stupid or gimmicky. And I don't, even though they're trying to make this meaningful character development and stuff, and this awesome stuff that's going to appeal to hardcore gamers, how many hardcore gamers really play actively hardcore games on their Apple and Androids and tablets?
Not many.
I mean, maybe I'll play this on PC. Maybe I won't. I mean, I can only briefly remember the original 2D game. I don't see why they don't just do something like the 3D one that came out, but, it's a bit weird. They got the money anyhow. That's the entire point of this news, aside from my thoughts on it. They managed to get $590,000 so far. Their target was $400,000. They still have 22 days to go, and they say if they make another larger amount, they'll add co-op in and stuff. So the more money that goes towards it, the bigger the game and more interesting it will be. Though I still beg the question why they don't make it 3D. But you know, it's cool. Shadowrun's an interesting universe. I have read the odd Shadowrun book, bits of books anyway. I've never finished one, and I have seen bits of the lore and the world itself. This whole future mashup of futuristic and fantasy with elves and orcs in a modern setting is very weird and very cool.
Yeah, it's like a dystopian kind of deal.
Yeah, it's cool. So that has got its Kickstarter, and it's still providing money for 22 days more. And I think the minimum pledge for you to get the game is $15 or more. You get a digital copy of the game, DRM free, which is awesome. And then, obviously, as Kickstarter always works, the higher you go, the more you get. So if you go to $10,000, which you can't because they've all sold out, you'll get all the rewards, plus you'll get the the lead developer will come to your town to run a tabletop game of Shadowrun for you and 5 of your friends. He'll even buy some snacks. So there you go. So if you want to get a high-end, a game developer to come to your house to play tabletop games and give you food, put $10,000 in. But sadly, they're all sold out. But you can still go for the $7,500 deal, you know, where you'll get lunch with the development team. I love Kickstarters, measles. I want to know these people that put $10,000 in. They are mental. They have a lot of money, don't they? So that's Shadowrun. Well done. Another Kickstarter. Kickstarter's the hotness right now.
Yeah.
What we got? We got Double Fine's adventure game. We got the tactical game in the vein of SWAT and Co. that they're making. That's succeeded.
There's a new Leisure Suite Larry.
Yeah. You've got the probably my favourite Wasteland's gonna come back. Awesome. And then you've got this. So yeah, Kickstarter is awesome. It's bringing back all these old franchises that some of which you remember, some of which you don't. Depends on your age. I remember Wasteland because I played it when I was young, even though it came out way before I was born. And I remember the likes of the old point-and-click adventure because I was alive in the 90s. And yeah, and tactical shooter SWAT from the early noughties, as people like to refer to them, 2000s and whatnot, is brilliant. So all this Kickstarter stuff is really helping gaming. So that's the second bit of news. And then the last bit of news, Mania. What is the last bit of news, Mania? It's about Notch.
The last bit of news is about Notch, you know, everybody's favorite developer who is the big, bright mind behind one of the best independent games of all time, I would say. Yep, Minecraft.
And he bathes in cash every day.
Which Minecraft is fantastic, and I have to thank Eidolon. Anyway, so Notch is making a new game called 0x10C.
It's amazing sounding.
It sounds amazing. It's basically a space. It's based in space, I believe. I had the page up here.
I don't need the page. I know what's going on. Yeah.
Then talk away.
Oh, you want me to talk? Well, basically, it's amazing. It's a space game, hard science fiction. He likes to refer to it as, which you're going to have abandoned ships where you can go and loot them, which is awesome. Battles against other players and AI. There's going to be landing on planets for whatever means. Duct tape. I know about duct tape. Thank you. There's going to be an economy in-game, which is amazing. Random encounters, depends if they do the whole Final Fantasy thing, I'll hate it. And there's loads of other stuff like mining and trading and looting. I'm guessing there'll be like mercenaries running around and all sorts of stuff. And the way that the game works, you get a computer system and you basically make your ship, and each thing you put on the ship drains wattage, so you can only fit a set amount of stuff on your ship. So like, and the example that I saw on the website when I looked at it earlier as well was the cloaking field might require almost all your power, forcing you to turn off all computers. So, yeah, it's pretty cool sounding. It's a bit weird. It confuses me a bit because they said the computer in the game is a fully functioning emulated 16-bit CPU. That is used to control a ship. I know what a 16-bit CPU is, but I don't understand this whole linkage into CPUs and stuff. That confuses me a little bit. But yeah, it looks amazing. I'm guessing it's going to have, like, you're going to have a human or an alien that you when you're on planets and stuff, when you get off your ship or something, because I did see something about characters having physics and stuff. So, it's a weird one. It's got a lot of weird things that I've heard about and seen that is interesting, and I look forward to seeing it. The one thing that does make me dislike it a little bit is that I've heard rumours that he may want to make it a monthly pay, and I don't know about that.
He doesn't need any more money.
He doesn't need any more money, that's right. And I don't know, I'll wait and see. I'll benefit of the doubt, He might not do it. He said he might. I'm looking forward to seeing what this game is. It's called OX10C. Now, that is the strangest game title I've ever seen. But, it's not. He's crazy. So there's going to be planets. There's going to be all sorts of craziness. And I look forward to seeing it, what happens. And, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be a little while until we see screenshots and stuff, I guess. But yeah, Notch is working on a game, which I believe on April Fool's it was called...
Yeah, it was Massive. It was something to make fun of Mass Effect.
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
It said it would have an ending that works. That makes sense, which is amazing. Shows that Notch shares the opinion of quite a few Mass Effect players. So yeah, I'm excited and not. I really like space games, like X. I mean, not if any of you have not played them, the X games are amazing, X3 and X Terran Conflict and all that stuff. And I was a massive EVE player, as I've previously stated. So, space is in for me. I really wish I would play EVE again, but it's got so epically massive now, and there's so much new stuff going on in that game that I can't even keep up. So, But this looks interesting and new. Don't wonder what kind of graphic style it will have. Wonder if it'll be 3D, 2D, Minecrafty, not Minecrafty. We'll see. But I'm excited to hear about it, and I'm excited to see Notch, who's a very clever chap, moving on to new projects since Minecraft was done and dusted. But yeah, X10C, 0x10C. The multiplayer interests me if it's going to be a good game. We'll see. We'll see. But that's all my gaming news that I have for the week here. And I think that's all we've got, pretty much, gaming news-wise. There's a lot of shit going on in the news of gaming these days.
Yes. Little tip of the hat, Minecraft is also coming out on the Xbox Live Arcade very, very soon.
Yeah, and there's a Skyrim kill cam released update.
Yes.
Yeah, there's that as well.
Yeah, the new patch for Skyrim came out yesterday for Xbox users.
I don't know what it does. Does it fix all my broken quests? Probably not.
It's patch 1.5. It adds new kill cams for the ranged attacks, so magic and archery. Adds some new kill cams for melee. It's got some wrestling moves now, so if you're going unarmed, you have wrestling move kill cams. Fixed a lot of the bugs that have yet to all be addressed yet. They fixed a lot of bugs. Lots of bug fixing.
I'm looking forward to seeing when the DLC starts to appear, which will be soon. I believe they announced that some DLC will be appearing this summer sometime. Yep. So yay for DLC, and yay for all these gaming awesomeness that's going on. And yay for Star Wars The Old Republic Legacy 1.2 patch, which includes more than just the family tree. And
it includes mini pets.
Yes, wonderful. Not. But yes, so lots of stuff going on, and I think that brings me to leave Mania to end the show, or whatever, and do the final bits of the show.
The ending of the episode 14.
My throat hurts.
Eidolon's throat hurts from activities. So, if you guys would like to send us a question for the podcast, you can send those questions to our Twitters at myself, Mania, which is Mania with 3 little O's. You can also send them to the official NooBTooB Coffee Break Twitter, which is at NT Coffee Break. You can also tweet Eidolon, whose Twitter is...
At Eidolon, of course.
At Eidolon, of course.
I don't have silly zeros at the end of my name.
I couldn't fit...
Damn, you should go murder the person. Murder the person that stole your original name.
Also, we have a Facebook page, which we might make a new one because the old one got effed up.
Because he didn't remember the password for the admin, so we can't do shit all. His fault, not mine.
Also, I now have an iTunes account. Yay! So this podcast will be going on iTunes finally.
If they let us, because it's like an hour and 50 minutes long or something.
It's fine. It's fine.
We
So we'll be
apologise for the
finally.
length of this show.
Yes, we haven't recorded a podcast in a year.
And the fact
so
that I did a paedophile joke about Mania and Pokemon. We will
haven't
bring
done
them
a
back soon.
haven't done a pedophile joke in a long time. Pedophile. Why'd I say pedophile?
No, pedo.
So yeah.
Or PM
also-
us via
yeah.
the forums.
Yeah,
Don't
you
forget
can
that.
also PM us on the forums if you
There's
have
so many ways
question.
to talk to us if you want to.
We also love comments in the thread. We never get them. Never ever get many. We get like one or two.
Yeah, criticise people and me.
Make fun of Eidolon and the way he talks.
Yeah.
Yes.
People do that a lot
comments.
lately.
Comments and criticism, guys. We like it. We like it. And we will be on iTunes, and I think I'll be embedding this with YouTube, because apparently all the podcasts now are going over to YouTube because it's easier to manage.
Oh, but you have to make a stupid picture to do the entire show on.
I already have a picture.
Oh yeah, you do. Well done, you.
Plus, my YouTube account can have longer than 15-minute videos, so we're all set.
It needs to be longer than 50 minutes. What is it, 1 hour or something?
Yeah.
The show will go back to its normal hour and a half, I'm sure, next week maybe.
Yes, that's episode 15 of the NooBTooB Coffee Break.
14.
14. 15 is hopefully next week. Which, there will be a lot of cool games coming out next week. I think Fez comes out next week.
I don't know what that is.
I will be playing Fez.
I will be still playing Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Which I'll be downloading after this episode.
And I know too many things, too much goodness in the world.
I'll also be playing more Killing Floor, which I got gifted to me via Gravehound.
Yay, Gravehound! Did he buy you the English sort of soldier pack, which has the amazing guy in the bear hat?
No, he just gifted me Killing Floor.
Oh well, that's an awesome game, nonetheless.
Which I haven't got to play with any NooBTubers yet, guys. Come on.
We've played a lot of that game.
Steam it up. But either way, we're rambling, and the show's already longer than it should be.
I'm going to bid you all a good night, and I'm going to leave Mania to thingy off the show while I go and play with some imaginary Truleks in the Star Wars universe.
And I will download the client after I am done editing the episode. So, thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully I hope you guys join us next week for more Coffee Break action. This is Eidolon, and he's saying goodbye.
Bye-bye.
And I'm saying goodbye as well. Thanks for watching.